I'm going for the platinum in the first Berserker of Khazad. Completely blind, no summons, and on the hardest difficulty in the game. This game didn't just test me, it nearly broke me. I found myself all locked up until I got freed, totally not dead. I started wandering around until I found some badass dual wielding weapons, and then found someone to try them on. Later on, this guy was tough and I had to use some healing, which was a trophy. Oh. This berserker looking dude from Gears of War thought I was a banana or something and then just slammed me on the floor. But trust me guys, he dropped one of the coolest helmets I've ever seen. I then interacted with the Nexus and upgraded a stat which gave an achievement. I then spotted a fan and gave him a good old pat on the back. This guy had a helmet and I just had to check the quality of it. While wandering around, I found this guy and he tried looking scary, but I beat Dark Souls 1, 2 and 3 at solo 1. This guy's nothing. Yeah, don't mind. On my way back, I saw this little orb. I picked it up, realizing this was my missing lacrima, which is the soul system in this game. I took vengeance, but apparently this guy used to be a ballerina, because what the heck is that? With no health left, I went all in and managed to stagger him and slowly got him down. There are stones that I'll find out throughout the video, and getting all of them will award us an achievement. I found this chest which contained an amulet, and by equipping the amulet we get another trophy. I then stumbled across the boss. This guy was a lot of trouble, and thankfully for you guys, I recorded some voice lines of me actually fighting this boss in real time. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Back to the boss, I dodged his attacks with ease. Whoops. After reviving, I was presented an option to select a difficulty, to which I picked normal, as I was no damn loser. Damn it. I was slowly understanding his attack patterns and when and where to punish him. Just barely I avoided the slam by staggering him, and I dealt some insane damage, consistently comboing him. After the boss absolutely backhanded me, he left an opportunity to hit him very hard, so I took this opportunity and started just going ham on him. Mission complete, and I took a nap. I then gained a skill point, which at this moment I was really excited for, and grabbed whatever looked nice. I was then told that I had a freaking javelin, which I just had to test out. Then I tested the multiple different weapon types available in the game, but I ultimately stayed with the dual wield for now. Then the Blade Phantom was waiting for me. I started this boss fight by learning his attacks and dodging them, and relying on light attacks, but occasionally a heavy slash. Since the boss had a stamina bar rather than a stagger bar, it was much easier to get it down. Which did happen quite often, so it was quite a lot of damage quite early. And yes, there was a phase 2. Phase 2 started with more weapons like these Wolverine claws and long attack chains that made me deplete my stamina faster than Usain Bolt doing 100 meters. But luckily I did a lot of stamina damage, meaning more brutal attacks. Sorry mate. After another brutal attack, I slowly whittled him down, and I'll put the reaction of me killing this boss at the end of every boss fight so you guys can watch.
There we go. Easy.
I will have no masters. You need my body, but I need your strength. You help me, I help you. We Oh, enough! Our alliance is formed.
We then enter the crevice, which is the hub of this world. So we have all the NPCs, blacksmiths and whatever staying here. I found this lady, which she gave us an option to take lacrima from gear in our inventory at the price of destroying an item. The next place on our journey contained the undead, which required us to destroy their souls after we killed them. That sounded a little bit confusing, didn't it? But here's a trophy. This guts-looking swordsman was whooping me until he kind of gave up or something. I kind of just flew off the edge. I pressed on and found that there were dragons in the game, and whoops. Then this random bard was here, which he kind of had some goodies on him, so that's fair. I hopped in this elevator, then I spotted a new NPC who gives us buffs with the more red stones we find on our journey. It's not about the friends, but the stones we find along the way. You know what's worse than mimics? We also got powers from ghosts we find, so we gotta catch them all. Then I found this Batman looking dude who turned out to be the next boss. For some reason, this boss seemed to be missing me in point blank. And good thing for us is that his stagger bar was easy damage, and this time I was fully using as much time for combos before executing the brutal attack. In case you guys didn't realise, I was testing out the spear this time, and it was pretty good. More attacks, more staggers, more combos, and definitely more brutal attacks. Surely there isn't a second fate. And by the way guys, as soon as I saw that glowing fragment, I was screaming, don't pick it up, don't pick it up, please don't pick it up. Yep, I know.
The power of Hismar.
I was trying my best to not get hit with only one heal left, and this guy was terrifying. Like, look at that. I got his health down super low, and I had no heals left, so I had to use all of my brain cells to think of a way to live, which was actually consuming this thing which gave me more souls and life. Luckily, I managed to attack him and stagger him, so I dealt as much damage as I could, trying to get his health straight to 0. But I couldn't, and I nearly paid the price for being too greedy.
Oh my god, we got first. Get it! Oh, Jesus Christ.
After that, a merchant entered the human side of the crevice. In the next zone, it had me on high alert as I thought I was insecure again with these plants, waiting for Ishin to pop around the corner. I thought this was an item to pick up and I nearly screwed up my whole run. So I didn't know at the time, but there is an achievement for finishing the game without summoning. By the way guys, this is the only time I got picked up and chucked by this worm. Never again. I then found this goat who happened to be the boss. I didn't have too much trouble with him. Sticking close and avoiding his slams allowed me to dish damage on the fly. I started using my first ability, which the gameplay and skills is the most satisfying thing I've ever played. Good job, developers. This boss also had different variations of attacks which confused me, but I really liked the difficulty. Now, he had hardly any health left, but with no heals, it's important to not be greedy. But after a few swings, I got him down. Good job, me. I rescued this lady and we're gonna be besties forever. This is Danjin. And Danjin likes jars. The reason I am smashing these jars is because there are 44 jars in the whole game, which not only awards us an achievement, but one of the most broken helmets in the game. The jars are quite easy to spot as they have like a golden hue around them, and then we just have to send them home. I returned to the crevice and sold an item to the merchant for a trophy. What's the scariest thing that can happen? Is it big heights? Is it bats? Is it sitting next to a mother and her baby crying for the whole duration of a flight? No, it's spiders. Now, I struggled a lot on this boss. From his long reach, to his high damage, and hardly taking much damage, I thought this was the one boss I was waiting for, the one I would take days trying to kill. Until I learned that you can literally just walk around him, like sprint around him and take no damage, and hit him. So yeah, the only times I could get hit is if he wasn't next to me. Of course there were times where I nearly died, like really nearly died, but I soon got him. After killing the spider, I rescued the blacksmith and then dismantled an item which awarded an achievement. I then had the blacksmith craft an item. The next zone had bandage, which were a lot easier than spiders. Which was what I thought until I found these guys, and they completely wiped the floor on me. I then headed into the sewers, and then thought this guy was invincible. Turns out he was just an NPC. Then I found this guy who destroyed me for so long. I really thought this guy was unfair compared to every other boss in the game. His attacks were dumb quick. His attacks did so much damage. He also had fire damage. He had crazy AoE. Well, it's not the boss, I just suck. But then I found out my ability could stun him in a weird way that his AI kept bugging out. So I kept using this attack to whittle his health down and dodging his fire attacks by simply running. Seriously though, this ability made this fight a lot more easier. And after a full-on brawl, I finally got his health down all the way to 0. I returned to this lady who can now change the item stats on our gear. I then popped another achievement. Then I pressed on with my new skills, which was sick, and it reminded me of Darksiders 1. And then I found something that looked very familiar. Then headed straight into the next boss. Like Rankus, I could just sprint around the boss and basically take no damage as long as I'm playing it smart. Unlike Rankus, he had a second face.
Chaos. We should have guessed.
Yeah, no one warned me I was fighting Virgil. About a dozen more fights, I finally learned all his attacks, and this kind of looks really cool. The spear was much better in this fight as it allowed me to attack while dodging. Running around these bosses helped big time, as I could just hit them in the back. Wait, that sounds weird. Hit them in the back with my spear. Never mind.
And he's dead. Finally.
I then gained the Phantom form, which looks sick. I then completed our first major side mission.
Coming home.
I then proceeded with the main quests, which had tons of traps that one-hit me, found this Chaos Heart and activated the switch, which teleported me here. I then thought I rescued Elaine, but no. Now, I enjoyed this fight, but a lot of the time she blocked her attacks from the front, so we needed to circle around her to do any damage to her. I had this moment in the boss fight where she kind of bugged out, so I just threw some jabs at her, trying to do some more damage. Despite being consumed with chaos, she had lots of light attacks, or lightning, but they were quite cool. But refreshingly, she was quite an easy fight compared to the other bosses. Unfortunately, we couldn't rescue her, but nonetheless we had to progress to the next zone, which had some kind of 80s vibes to it. Then there was this guy who was chucking pyromancers at me, which did so much damage that I nearly got one tapped. I then went up, and even more up. God damn, Kazan's got some strong legs. And eventually I found Shakhtar, if that's how you pronounce it, which was the next boss. Now, I died a lot to this boss, but I had the most fun because, like, look at this. I'm just dodging his attacks like nothing. After getting his stamina down, I put out a new combo I've been working on, and look at this damage as well. Yeah, ignore the fight. And soon after, I managed to kill him with one single combo and a brutal attack. I then rescued Yulian. I then found this page, which turns out you needed 15 for a secret ending, which I somehow got, and I completed more side missions. We then were tasked to go to Aldvir to find a witch. This was a nice looking area, and I nearly had a heart attack from this jump. I then opened the floodgates from New Londo, and followed through until I found this lady.
Kazan, so you survived after all, I see.
I started this fight by dashing to the boss, which allowed me to attack her and get rid of her attack as well. Her attacks did lightning damage, and if I get hit, I lose so much maximum stamina, so it was important not to hit. Throughout the fights I was facing, I was slowly working on the combos, and later on you'll see some crazy combos I've been pulling off. The start of her second phase was the break or make situation, because I died the most during this bit. But her second phase didn't really add too much, but more attacks and sometimes more repetitions of the half-life phase attack. And just when I got so close, she started her phase attack, and with no healing, I had to really focus and try out there, which, look at this. I was then tasked to find another witch, but I swear I wasn't aura farming here. After entering the big portal, I learned I had to find 3 totems to deactivate, and along the way I found the bard. I found the first totem, also the second, and finally the third, which opens a portal to the witch fight, which I had to face a witch. Haha, puns. After that pun, the game didn't like me because it started the fight with me getting hit. And yeah, it helped. Thankfully, this boss has a stamina bar, so I was free to unleash my new combo, which involved the trance skill. The trance skill allowed me to sync it with any other attack that used spirit, so this went well with other abilities. She'd occasionally teleport and start a massive AoE attack, so I used a javelin here, which was a must. So I think it stopped the attack. And again, this is why I love the trance skill, because it just fixes mistakes. I then did some crazy burst damage and swiftly took away her health.
Misunderstanding.
Back to the crevice, I augmented my gear for the first time for a sweet trophy. Tristan told us Scalpel was here. Then I got hit by Nostalgia. Had a little bit of fun. I nearly died, so I used the Blade Phantom to push him off the edge. I then cleared the path, opened a massive gate, and it led me to Scalpel.
Not you two.
This is one of the only times I used Reflection, which allowed me to do a lot of stagger damage to Scalpel. Scalpel also had very instant grab attacks, and occasionally he would do it twice in a row, so you gotta be careful, guys. In this run, he only seemed to be doing basic attacks, which is very lucky for me. But sometimes he did this crazy looking attack. But again, he only did it once, normally does it 3 times in a row. I then got him dead. Totally dead. Like completely dead. Oh, never mind. The boss is now enraged, so he cannot be staggered, but his health slowly drains, and I mean slowly drains. I then dodged the scariest grab attack of my life. I had to make sure that I hit him exactly at the right moments, because if I didn't, I'd get punished hard and most likely die very quickly. His health was so low and my body screamed to rush him, but I knew to not get greedy and patiently waited. I then found the Transcendent Sword, danced in the Opera Room, entered magical paintings that had secrets and treasure, and found the bard again. What the heck? And here is the princess. I also learned I've been saying crescendo wrong the whole time of my life. But back to the game, yeah, this combo was getting very satisfying because look at these chains. And I could just get rid of her stamina bar pretty much any time I wanted. For some reason I was playing an ARPG game with these balls, and it was quite a nice attack to be fair. She did have a bubble around her like Bellarine, but when it cracks, I think it does extra stagger damage to her, so more for me. But since I had an onslaught of combos, I managed to get her health down very quickly compared to Scalpel. After finding out where Ozma was, I completed more side missions like this one. Found more about Elaine's backstory. I then progressed with the main story and found this big door which the bard was here again, but apparently I learned all of his story.
It's quite a coincidence, meeting like this.
I then walked up a massive staircase and found this fat man. I started the fight by beelining it straight under his belly, as it's a common safe spot. The boss took reduced damage from every other body part except his head, so that made it its weak spot. And brutal attacks were the only way I could do big boy damage. Yeah, I nearly died so many times this fight. And when the boss gets to half health, he gets new chaos attacks which really hurt. But I got super lucky with his breath attacks, as I didn't really have to move much. And with no health left, I grabbed everything I could from my inventory. This involved combining a willpower orb and a spirit orb. And then I did the most clutch dodge I've ever done in this game when trying to heal, because I actually used a lightning buff. I then thought I died because he grabbed me, but he didn't actually do much damage as I thought. In case you're wondering why I had my blade phantom form, it was used for any one-shot attacks like this, and this would have killed me if I didn't have it. I was using all of my brain for this fight. This was my second attempt and first attempt getting him past half health, but I managed to finally get him up this big combo with all my strength. Swiftly from that, I completed another side mission. Then I got Sharon's Chains for another achievement, and turns out this, the sword, and the pages actually unlocked the secret ending which I did not know about at all. I then began finishing all the other side missions. Then I fought Reese, starting the fight off with a crazy combo. I won't lie though, the music here was kind of fire. Avoiding any copy strikes, I beat her, but turns out she had another phase. Her new phase has her using more attacks, but my stag damage is really good, and I really went all into trance, because look at these combos. I kind of just repeat the combos until she finally died. I then found the last jar, and also the last soul stone, and lastly, the last boss.
Be my answer.
I started off with a very strong combo which fit my playstyle with constant dodging and allowed me to attack while dodging, which was a very big benefit. With enough punishment and him having a stamina bar, I could get it down quite quickly, which allowed me to get more brutal attacks in. At one point, I, for some reason, went insane with this chaos damage and walked right through it, but it was kind of worth it in the end, because look at this damage. And yeah, he had 1 health and a second phase. At the start of this phase, I got some easy attacks in to proc Moonlight and dodged him and punished him. In case you guys didn't realise, his stamina bar is now a stagger bar. I then nearly died to the slashing attacks. And with his half health phase, these attacks needed dodging. And before he did his massive AoE, I staggered him and dealt as much damage as I could. Trust me guys, this fight was long and brutal. I then dealt the final blow and finished him. Yup, he had a phase 3. I had to get him down quick so I had to be very offensive, dodging everything he threw at me, while also throwing everything I had at him too. And for some reason I was just standing there taking his hits. I think I might be a masochist, guys. I then clutched up and then had to use the Blade Phantom as a one-time defense to avoid his AoE because it was very needed. He had a very tiny amount of stagger left, so while in Blade Phantom form I managed to get the brutal attack done. I then healed up and got right back into the fight, managing to get the last brutal attack needed.
Still have my revenge.
After getting that ending, trophies popped like they were nothing. And then I went back and summoned and then started a new journey. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys liked this video.